Perico heist in the works, but I should go in and finish it one of these days and start a new island. Well, the other thing is that if you start the Cayo Perico heist again immediately when it becomes available after completing it, it does it in hard mode. And hard mode isn't really that much harder than the normal mode, but it pays more. So normally, after you finish it, you hang out in the game for like 5 minutes, and then you have the option to start again immediately so that you could have another hard one lined up. But now you have to wait a few hours afterwards. So catching that window to do the Cayo Perico heist in hard mode is harder to do now, or more annoying to do. But I don't have the game queued up, and you crashed your computer queuing it up. And I sent the link out to Mars. I also I forgot to do this in so long because he never clicks it these days. But I sent the link to Gothard this week. Although usually he gets the link like tomorrow, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's Mondays, isn't it?" So, but that's okay because I'll get to hang out with Gothard in October because
Right.
because we are nearing the end of summer. We're in the if you like summer, you better get out there and enjoy yourself because there's not
Yeah.
much of it left. But
It's always summer here.
yeah, because I went to the shore this past weekend, although I spent all day Saturday at a birthday party, so I only got up to the beach briefly on Sunday before I had to get in the car and drive back up here. And next weekend, this upcoming weekend, is the Trans Am Nationals. So my dad's not going to be down the shore, so I don't think anyone's hanging out down there this weekend. So I guess this coming weekend will be my tear the wall open and fix the hallway light or the stairwell light weekend, and then patch it back up. But
Did I somehow unfollow you?
unfollow me
I
where?
don't see I don't see on Twitch.
On Twitch? No, you should still be.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But I should be live now. Let me see if I'm actually live. I am live. So it is there. Actually live. Yeah, see? I'm live. And I have a few messages. Let's see what we got.
Oh, it is live. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm following you and stuff. He just
Huh.
kind of forgot to include you in the list.
I got a message from someone on Twitch who said, "Shh, you did not get this audio file from me." So I don't know who I got this from.
One thing
I
wanted to see
told.
before I got muted again.
It was funny.
And
Music by Chance and I had this conversation. I think when we were eating wangs together. Wait, no, wait.
Oh,
Wings. What the?
wow.
Yes, Stoon was eating wangs together with someone.
Dang.
That is.
That's whatever.
You know how sometimes you put a little emphasis on something to be funny, and then
Yeah.
it sounds completely different out loud than it sounded in your head.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that
Ooh.
was.
Together. Wait, no, wait.
Oh,
When we were eating wangs together. Wait, no, wait.
oh,
Wings. What the?
wow.
I just.
Wow.
dude.
Oh my God.
Would be the one thing
I
wanted to see.
told.
I think Dune spent like the next 5 minutes after that off camera crying, huddled in a ball.
Oh, good. I
the
finally
cor-
got an ad. When I clicked on the show, it went spinning, and now I refreshed it, and now I got an ad. They're playing soccer,
Soccer.
and they won. Oh, it must be actually football. Oh, it's Taco Bell. There you go.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
All right. So
Sponsored by.
I'm actually mad at Taco Bell though, because here's the thing. You don't appreciate what you have until you don't have it. And mind you, growing up,
Do
since the
you have Del Taco where you
no,
are?
we do not have Del Taco.
Did you ever go to Del Taco out here?
No, I never did.
It's way better. Way better.
You know, this is not normally how you talk about your sponsors on a show.
Oh no!
The competitor to
Yes.
the company that has sponsored this show is way better. that is not a winning strategy in show business, I don't think. There.
Right.
So instead,
Well, of course, Del Taco is not coast to coast, so
right. So
I could say that it's better, but if it's not available, right?
yeah, but this show is available coast to coast. So there are some regions where, well, I don't know. I've not had Del Taco. I don't know anything about Del Taco. I do know
They have a much bigger menu,
I know that Jack in
and
the
some of
Box.
it you kind of go, "That's not exactly a Mexican food." There's a hilarious part in one of the late episodes of Grace and Frankie. They keep talking. They talk about Del Taco. And there's this woman
Yeah.
that has some
But
level of dementia.
We're not talking about
She
Del Taco.
thinks of Del Taco as going to Mexico. Oh, I'm in Mexico. No, you're at Del
But-
Taco.
but shifting gears back to Taco Bell, which is
Yes,
the
Taco
actual
Bell.
topic.
Yes. The real sponsor.
The
we
real
show it
sponsor.
down here.
Taco Bell. I mean, growing up, I remember there weren't many Taco Bells in New Jersey when I was younger. In fact, I don't know where they originated from or at what point they came to New Jersey or where they've been in New Jersey, but I know that there was a Taco Bell out in the area. I think it was near or in Flemington or somewhere around that area, and we never heard of it. You know why we heard of Taco Bell?
Why?
Well, these people moved in next door to us, and they moved in from California, and I guess out where they were in California, they had Taco Bells, and so when they came out there, they were like, where are all the Taco Bells at? So they found the nearest Taco Bell, which was like an hour away, because there were Taco Bells in New Jersey. So this became kind of like a regular occurrence because my mom befriended the wife of the next door neighbors, and so oftentimes going out to lunch together involved driving an hour out a few towns over to go to Taco Bell for lunch. And so I kind of remember my first Taco Bell visit was one of these treks out there with the next door neighbors, and it was funny because my introduction to Taco Bell was observing that yes, just like McDonald's, they will mess up your order. So I'm doing a good job of also promoting Taco Bell because we get out there and we're like, well, what type of tacos do you want? And I'm like, the type with meat in them. What type of tacos are there? And Mom's like, well, there's a regular taco and there's a supreme taco. I'm like, okay, what's the difference between a regular taco and a supreme taco? Supreme taco has sour cream and tomatoes on it. I'm like, okay, get me the supremes. And Diana Ross and Florence Henderson and no, not no. What was the Florence? What was the other Supreme's name? Sorry, I got the wrong. No, Florence Ballard. I got the wrong Florence in there. That was awful. That was. Let's never clip that. So I have bored you.
No. I was looking up Taco Bell on Wikipedia. They probably don't want to have us read all of that on the air. Some of it is negative.
So we go to Taco Bell. My mom orders 2 soft taco supremes. I order 2 soft taco supremes. My brother orders a soft taco. My sister orders a soft taco. And so my mom gets her order, opens it up, and they're just regular soft tacos. So she immediately thinks, oh, well, they mixed up our orders. So she goes to me. She goes, "Did you get the soft taco? Did you get?" I'm like, "No, I ordered the soft taco supremes. I have." She's like, "Okay," and so then my one sister, Steph, she hates tomatoes, so she's over there picking off all the tomatoes, putting them to the side. My brother's like, "This is good, but what's this white stuff?" So basically, my mom's tacos went into the kids' meals with my brother and sisters. And so my mom got to eat 2 half-eaten soft taco supremes for her lunch that day.
You see Sparky's, hey, Sparky, I like your, figure out how to block them. Huh, I'll be damned.
Yeah, what, you build
You
a pie
blocked our
hole.
sponsor.
You build a pie hole, right? I think that's what the kids are doing these days. They put the ads in the pie hole.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, that's you build it's a Raspberry Pi project, a pie hole that you build and add to your network so that all the traffic's being funneled through the Raspberry Pi and it filters out advertisements and things.
Oh, it's almost like a pseudo VPN.
Yeah, you could do. Actually, I got to, and then of course Chrome lets you block things. Now the problem I have is that I have ad block installed in Chrome, but the problem the problem is that the sites are getting wise to it. So now the sites put up a thing that basically say, you're blocking our ads. We need you to view our ads. Either unblock the ads or go the fuck away. And that's why. And that's why there are certain news sites that I have completely banned and blocked from everything. Like my phone's news feed. I tell you, I don't know what the fuck the Android devs are doing with this fucking news feed. But it's annoying to me to have a list of news articles that come through on my thing. I tap on it and it goes, "This is a subscription-only article." Fuck you. Fuck you.
I mean, you're using a newsfeed app, right? Isn't there a setting to not show me the ones with a deal?
Yeah,
or even better, even door. So you have this news feed. They work with all these different companies to show their news. Why don't you subscribe to all of them and maybe pass on a combined small fee to me?
Yeah.
So I'm only paying one guy instead of 50 different news feeds.
Anyways,
that's absurd.
Apparently, there's a Chrome,
why is that not a thing now?
Apparently, there's a Chrome add-in specifically for targeting Twitch ads. So that's cool. I need to get up on what the ad blocking technologies of this day. But actually, it's funny. The whole pie hole thing leads me to. I gotta tell you, Brian, I've come to a decision in my life.
Yes,
it is much better to go to a job interview and interview for a job than it is to give a job interview to someone who's looking for a job. If you think it's bad going to a job interview, try giving them. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I don't want to do it.
What went south on that?
Well, nothing went south. I just hate it. It's like English homework. I'd rather not.
I'm sorry. What part of it do you hate?
Well, I got to come up with questions. I got to judge the responses. I got to get
you know what the guy is supposed to do.
Well, let me. I just hate it. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out what you hate about it. I mean,
it's
know
like
what
English
the guy's supposed
homework.
to do, so you just say, hey.
I mean, I need to
come at me, man. Let me interview you.
I need to come up with a fair.
So
way
why do you
want
to do a show on Twitch? Bring it at me.
Free porn.
Free porn. We don't offer free porn. What else do you like about it?
Damn.
I mean, after all, it's Twitch, right?
Wait, there's no free porn in doing Twitch stream? What the hell am I doing here then?
I don't know. That's
wait.
wait.
Oh, that's right. That's right. The cat pictures. This is the cat pictures.
The cat
category
pictures. There you go.
Yes.
Well, no, that's what Twitter is.
That's
and Instagram.
Oh, that's the other T one. The other TW thing. Okay. Well, gee, I'm not here for cat pictures and I'm not here for porn. Then
hula hoops. That's what you're here for.
I'm gonna go find some porn. Kidding. All right. No, but so I had to interview someone today, and here's the thing: is that my coworker is retiring, and the service desk consists of me and my coworker. So, and we both have a supervisor who's a very good supervisor, backs us up much better than the last supervisor I had. Because let me tell you, if you run into an IT job working with someone named Nordine in the Boston area, just run. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
wanna-
yeah, yeah, yeah. You've talked about him before.
Don't you just love
Nordine
how
is not exactly a common name.
exactly? So I have a
got it.
feeling that you'd probably find him pretty easily if you were to like check LinkedIn for IT people in the Boston. Not that I'm recommending you do that, but I really also don't give a shit if you do that. Because-
Right. Maybe you'll just for fun get an interview with him and ask him what is he about?
Brian, I can guarantee you the only way I could ever get an interview with Nordine would be if I put in a fake name.
No,
got-
but as soon as if you're meeting face to face,
There's
He'll-
no way Nordine's working with me again. Let's just say it's probably a mutual agreement that we have that we'd both rather not work with each other.
so if let's say this interview was a FaceTime or what have you, or a team or something like this that you got
Right.
invited to, you show up on video and he sees you and you go, "What the fuck? Get
I
out
think-
of here!"
I think what the fuck probably would come out of his mouth.
Uh-huh.
Or he'd start swearing at me in French.
Oh yes.
No, but anyways, so basically when it comes to the service desk work, it's me now mind you, we're not alone because we have junior sysadmins that help us out a lot and they'll back us up and they'll do things like that. So it's really not just the two of us, but essentially as far as the ultimate responsibility
Now between
goes,
the two of
it's
you,
just
is
the two
one
of
of
us.
one of you guys boss?
No, we both have a boss. That's the guy that's better than Nordine. But he's not
Yeah,
he's
Way
more
better.
he's more management inclined than technically inclined. So, you
Well,
know,
that's
he-
common, yeah.
right. So, you know, he can kind of give a few basic answers, steer things in the right direction, or escalate something to the junior sysadmins if like he's backing
Now,
us up
is
and
there
neither of us
another
are around.
technical wizard in your department that I can't figure out how to do this that you can go to?
Yeah, the junior sysadmins, the senior sysadmins, and
Yeah.
let me tell you, my last job there really wasn't because I was considered
Yeah.
at this job. It's two service desk people, and we we're both equals. My last job, I was senior service desk person, so the three other service desk people basically, escalate it to me if they got stuck. And then my supervisor Nordine, even though he was a senior service desk person, moved up, and I backfilled his job. He was not good at service desk stuff. He just happened to fail upward. Because I can tell you, never once in the years that I worked at Enternock, not once did I ever get any usefulness out of Nordine. Several times I went to him with, "This came in. I don't know what this is. I looked here and here and here, and I can't find this, and I can't figure out, and I am absolutely stuck. What would you do?" And he would just be like, "Oh, just Google it." And it's like, dude, they're looking for access to an internal system I never heard of that I don't know how people get access to. How is Google going to tell me how NL
Exactly.
employees get set up for that? Well, just figure it out.
That's what I've been trying to do. Yeah.
He never once provided me with anything useful.
Right.
And
Okay.
the
All right.
and-
So you're not interviewing Nordine for this
and
job.
the sysadmins were so siloed, they didn't want to hear from us. If I ever asked a sysadmin, "Hey, what could you do? Where does this go?" They basically were like, "Fuck off, I'm busy," was their attitude. Whereas here, there's plenty of people I can go to help, and they'll help me, and that's why I'm so much happier here. But all right, we'll get back on topic.
absolutely. I mean, after all, the IT group should resemble a team,
Right. And
right?
each
Each guy's got their own roles. Some guys have different expertise. You figure out which guy you
Right.
can go to, and you should be able to go to anybody that meets that criteria.
My last job, I could not go to anybody. They all would try to find ways to
we
get
get,
rid of me.
we get that.
Yeah.
I think we all get that.
So, anyways,
So
the
yeah. So what are you looking for in this guy?
well, I'm basically
A clone
looking
of you?
Well, that's the thing. What am I looking? I mean, I'm not looking for much. I'm looking for someone that can do the job. That's what. And looking for someone that someone. Here's the thing: is that I think we've decided we're not looking for a senior person. We're looking for someone that can grow into the role, but we'd like them to have some kind of a foundation.
Yeah. Although
And
I mean,
that's very
you know,
vague and
a
very
lot of
hard to
stuff
pin down.
You do is proprietary. You have your own methodologies, right?
Well, but there's not.
But
there's,
like if you're saying, "Oh yeah, have you ever gone into Microsoft Windows to set the guy up, set the
there's a
guy's
lot
profile up or whatever"?
Well, there's a lot that's not proprietary. I mean, we're using Microsoft
Sure.
Surface laptops. That's not
Sure.
proprietary. We're using
Which is a shame, but that's beside the point. Beyond your control.
Oh, that's Josh's fault.
We've talked about that.
That guy is the pits. But there's Office
And then
365.
you're going to have to follow up with this attempt to get this laptop out of this loser.
Anyways,
Or actually, I think she's winning.
so here's the thing. So far, we have interviewed 2 people for this, and I think I told a story
Excellent.
about. I think I told you a story about the. Did I tell you a story about the first guy I interviewed?
Not today.
Okay, well, that was some weeks ago, and the
okay.
thing is that this is, as much as I love the place I work at, sometimes there's a little bit of breakdown of communication between departments.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's always HR, but it's always HR.
Yeah, right. Well, so the chain of the interviews, who is involved? Obviously, you are.
Well,
obviously, some knucklehead in HR.
This question suggests that there's some organization going on here.
Uh-oh.
So let me just tell the story, and I'll get us through this because I do have an agenda to this story, and I'll try to get focused.
So who showed up first? I mean, who got this guy's name first?
Well, the thing is
that you first?
That's more my boss and HR's department, and the thing is that my boss goes, I really want your input on this, and I want you to help me there because this person's going to work with you, so I want your opinion. And I'm like, great, fine, but the thing is,
you don't want to, you don't want them to pick the dork,
but when
the guy that's just an asshole, I know everything, bull crap. Right.
But when I interviewed here, and when I interviewed here, I went through a process, and so I had a certain expectation that the process hadn't changed. So my interview experience is what I was expecting to happen in this case. I came in one day for some in-person interviews after some phone screenings, and I met with groups of people. And so I had a few group interviews in the same day, and then they basically said, well, we're not saying that you got the job, but you probably got the job. We'll call you. And I'm paraphrasing that because they wouldn't tell you that directly. But like I asked them, like, how many other people?
You have to be very careful on how you state it.
Right, but I could tell as I'm walking out that like. I pretty much had the job. Something would have to go seriously wrong with basically the only thing that could have stopped me from getting the job after those in-person interviews would be if they called MyFong to check my reference and MyFong started telling them what an asshole I am. But I knew
or last second they got a better asshole to take your job.
But I knew I could count on MyFong to lie for me, and sure enough, she came right through and told them what a nice guy I am.
That's it. You want to have positive people as friends, right?
Yes. So
very positive. I'd give you a very positive response to that.
So when my boss said, "I want you to be a part of the interview process," my thought was he meant as alongside of him, helping him conduct the interview back and forth in a group environment, not I'd like you to help an interview process. I'm going to set you up one-on-one with these people. And so the first candidate comes through to the point where they decide, oh, okay, we like this guy. Let's bring him in for some interviews. And I get an invite. And I see, I got an invite tomorrow at, 9:30. Okay, great. I'll get up tomorrow at 9 and get the coffee on, and I'll be, in there with the group interview. I'll let my boss open up and run the thing. I'll throw a few questions in here and there as they come up. I thought I had this covered. So the next morning I wake up. I start to get the coffee ready. A bunch of things coming with email. At 9:15, the alert comes up letting me know you got this in 15 minutes. I pull it up and I see there's no one else on the call. It's just me and the guy. And I'm like, the fuck? So I messaged my boss. I mentioned my boss. I go, am I going one-on-one with this guy? He's like, yeah. I thought you knew that. I'm like, no, I didn't know that. Oh, you'll be fine. I'm like, no, I won't. I have nothing prepared for this. I don't know what I'm asking. I thought it was going to be a group thing. Oh, no, it'll be fine. Just go ahead. Just do it.
Yeah, just go ahead, man. That's what I've been saying.
And it's like, what else could I do at this point? So I was totally
no big deal. Yeah.
So then here's the thing I didn't know because of the lack of communication was that they scheduled him to have 2 back-to-back calls, a call with me from 9:30 to 10 and then a call with 2 of the more senior people from 10 to 10:30. But they sent him one long invite that was also subdivided into 2 smaller. So I got a half-hour invite. The other people got a half-hour invite for later. He got 1 hour call. He didn't see that it was split up into 2 groups. He just saw.
So when you were done, you were supposed to hang up. Another guy's supposed to jump on and take over.
The other guys are supposed to jump on and I would transition it over, but I didn't know this. So I joined the Teams call at 9:30 with him, and he can't figure out how to get his microphone working on his computer, which is not a good start for a job interview for tech support.
For a tech support guy.
So right off, it was strike one right at the beginning.
So the guy hasn't used Teams before.
So if I was an asshole, I would have worked into the interview process. Well, let's walk through a few tech support troubleshooting scenarios. What would you do if you got a ticket in that someone tried to join a Teams call and there was no sound? If I was an asshole, I would have done that, but I didn't. I didn't do that. So,
or when he finally does get his microphone working, so let's walk through what you did to fix that problem.
Right, that would have been, but he didn't.
You get help from somebody.
But what he did was he said, well, maybe I can't. Well, then the other thing is that some people will play it off like, I don't know if it's on my end or your end, and I knew it wasn't on my end, but I wasn't gonna be an ass about it. So he gave me his phone number, so I called him, and we conducted the interview over the phone. And then when the top of the half hour came around, when it came around to 10 o'clock, I asked him, do you have another call you need to take at this time? And he said, no, I'm good. Now, I thought I was asking him, do you have another interview lined up with other people at 10 o'clock because this only goes at 10? Whereas he thought I was asking him, do you have anything else to do after this one call with our company? And he's like, no, I'm free. It's like he's like, why are you asking me this halfway through the call? Because he
doesn't even know that this is supposed to go for an hour.
Right. Well, he knew it was supposed to go for an hour, but he didn't know it was supposed to switch over to other callers at the top of the half hour. And he didn't know I was asking. He didn't know that I thought that my part was done then, and I was asking him, do you?
So next time you'll know. Let's see. I'm scheduled just for a half an hour on it. Are you scheduled more than a half hour? In other words,
right.
I'm guessing that there's another person coming on this call.
Now I need. So since we weren't on the Teams call and just on the phone, and he didn't have anything else to do, I just asked him at that point, do you have any questions for me? And we proceeded to speak another 15 minutes on the phone while the senior guys are supposed to interview him are sitting in a Teams call being stood up by the unluckiest candidate in the world right now that I just led to stand up a bunch of senior people. But I explained to them that was not the candidate's fault. That was totally circumstances or whatever. It was because he couldn't figure out how to troubleshoot the microphone problem on his laptop. I guess he didn't look very good at the end of this, actually. Well, the problem...
So when does he start?
Well, I don't know. Is it too much to talk about these things when I'm anonymizing people? Should I not be going into this?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, you think this is okay. All right, so if I get in trouble at work at this, I'll be like, but my co-host said it was okay.
But you're not naming names.
I'm not naming names, okay.
Not even the top manager people, which would get you into trouble.
Basically, what it came down to was that when he was a guy that worked a few contract jobs doing some contract IT work, so he had some experience. But when I asked him, well, where do you see yourself going with your career? What would you like to expand on? What direction would you like to go in? He's like, oh, I'm probably, a few years, get like a team lead or something like that. He spoke nothing of a passion to technology. He had spoke nothing of pursuing looking more into this type of technology, or going more into security, or going more into sysadmin, or learning more about SCCM, or getting more into, he just spoke of, team lead, go up the generic ladder, blah, blah, blah. He had he demonstrated no passion for IT. He just kind of wanted to fail upwards, I guess.
Well, when I was working for IBM, they had hired 50 programmers before me, before I started. And in 6 months, half of them were gone. A few of them demanded to become on the management team, become supervisors, stuff like that. And they, caved to them. Okay, that's your track is management. That's fine.
Okay.
And it's a big organization. What the hell? And then there were other people. I would be in a class with some of these people, and a few of them would kind of go, "Why am I taking this class? Programming is boring. What are you doing here?"
And that's how you met Nick. No kidding.
No. He wasn't with IBM. Oh, he was better. He worked for.
I have a feeling he thought programming
Ross
was boring.
Perot's outfit.
What's that?
He worked for Ross Perot's outfit early in his career. And he met him, and he knew what kind of an asshole he was.
Can I finish?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, well, no, he was this guy. I got to tell you, though, Ross talked a good talk in the debates, though.
Oh, yeah. But he's the kind of asshole, if he saw a young man and a young woman in an elevator, he would find out who they were, talk to HR, and find out their marital status.
Why?
Because if they weren't married to each other, or if they were married to somebody else, that person would be in trouble.
Oh, you mean if he found them in the elevator being flirty?
No, just talking.
Just talking?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So he had a Mike Pence attitude towards.
I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. Yes. Where is Mother?
And the thing is yes, I kind of mean that as an insult, but I don't think you can call me out on that, because I don't think I'm being at all exaggerating or factually incorrect about that assessment. And if that's how someone wants to be, that's how someone wants to be. Now, if they want to be an asshole about it and adhere their employees to those standards, then that's where it becomes an asshole type thing. I don't think we have any examples of Pence doing that. I just was saying the viewpoint seems to align with the types of things that. Anyways,
yeah, well, that's a conservative thing. Is that
we'll find out if Dune was
your
listening
private
in
business
3, 2,
is my business
1.
or something.
Right.
Okay, so that
was the
if
first
you got
interview.
specific about something that happened at work and you named names. Particularly on social media where it's public, that could get you fired, right?
Yeah.
But you haven't. You don't even say the name of the company you work for, which is cool.
No.
right?
Sparky goes.
This friend of mine, this guy I worked for in another job, he got a call from a magazine wanted to talk about the company's business, or an event related to the company's business. And he at first refused, but said, but we're not going to talk about your company. We're going to talk about these other things. It's okay. I'll talk about it. Anyway, I think it was a magazine article. So he was quoted in a magazine, and they mentioned his company, and he was fired for it.
Ooh, okay. So we're not mentioning any specifics here, but going back
just enter knock.
Going back to Ross Perot and the fraternizations among the ladies and gentlemen in the elevator type of story, Sparky is pointing out that, sorry, I do not believe that. They are taking an elevator ride and they must be married. I think Brian is stretching the truth. Or,
no.
Hang
Hang on.
Is stretching
Not
the truth.
just that. Figure out if they're married, Or if they're both not married, then it's okay. Okay.
Oh,
But if one is married, the other is not, or they're married to somebody else, that calls the question.
but
And that's none of their business.
well, it's but here's the question. Now it is a bit extreme for Ross to be digging for that type of information, but would he do that if it was just a polite hello, or what level of conversation would he have to observe in the elevator before he
I
feels
didn't
he
witness
needs
this
to?
myself. I just have heard about it. That's the type
Okay.
of things that he would do.
Okay.
Okay, Sparky, is that cool, Sparky?
So we do not know if Ross reserved this type of behavior to when he would catch them sucking face in an elevator, or talking flirty, or talking about the weather. We really don't know.
We don't have that detail. That's
we don't have that
correct.
detail.
Yeah.
But okay.
And maybe there was something that was clearly going on between the two.
Yeah, maybe he really was detecting some sexual
Or
undertones
maybe
there.
Ross
and
Perot
this-
was actually jealous and he wanted the girl. I don't know.
I don't know. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. So that was the first interview. So
Yeah,
after,
so utter failure. Yeah.
so after so we
yeah, that
didn't-
went south fast.
Well, then we did a follow-up interview with him, with the senior people, and they also came back and said, yeah, this guy has no ambition or motivation to, kind of pursue an IT career. We pass. And I said, I agree with what they said.
What was the guy's background? Did he have?
Just a few contract jobs, and IT-related service desk type of things.
Nothing wrong with that as long as he was getting the job done.
He was getting the job done, but he had no ambition. Now, here's the other thing. He kept emphasizing that the reason he like I didn't even ask him, why are you looking for a job now? He immediately came out of the gate with the whole, I did this. Everyone liked me. I did really good. There was some downsizing, and as a result, I just, it was nothing wrong with what, and the amount of effort he went into to emphasize how much his performance was not a factor. The fact of the matter is that when you got to make cuts, you got to make decisions, and you're not going to cut your strongest performers. So his performance was probably adequate.
I was on a contract position with a large company with an international presence, and which itself is a whole different story. But I got cut, and the manager that cut me said, "Listen, actually, I really wanted to keep you around, but we're going through this big layoff." Internationally, and I feel it's wrong to keep contractors on and let employees go.
Right.
So as a contractor, I was fucked.
That sucks.
Then 3 months later, they called me back to see if I wanted to work for them again.
And
I didn't say no. What I did do is okay. So I'm getting a call to come back to another contract job with this outfit. I was working as a contractor for another outfit, and so I went to them and I said, "Look, I've got this other offer. I'd be very tempted to buy it, but you know what? If you made me an employment, then I'm yours." So I got a job.
There you go. Now, speaking of contractors and contract cuts and extensions, this reminds me of an example of how Nordine was a bit of an asshole even when he was trying to be nice.
Yeah.
Because we had a contractor on our team, and she was really nice, and she did good work. Every time Nordine mispronounced her name, I made a point to correct him in front of her, because that's just not cool, and I won't stand for that. Maybe this is part of why me and Nordine didn't get along.
Did he say her name wrong on purpose?
No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was
he the idiot?
I don't think it was on purpose, but it's like, dude, I've told you how to pronounce her name like 10 times. She's told you, I've told you, I've corrected you every time. Figure it out so that you can stop embarrassing yourself, man. Come on. It was basically, there was a part of the name that sounded like Ellis, but he kept saying Elise, and that wasn't the name. It was a part of the name.
That's because
And-
he's French, right?
Well, no, he was from part of I think he was born in Africa. He had family in France, so he was in French. I think he was multilingual. His background was impressive.
Like South
and-
Africa, then.
right?
Yeah,
He
because they speak French in South Africa
okay
as
so-
well.
But I also had family in France as well too, and he traveled
Yeah.
to both. And I mean, he was a guy
So,
that
so what you're saying is he was Vietnamese? No,
No.
just kidding.
no. He was not Vietnamese, but
That was a joke.
but he. But the thing is, if you corrected him, he could pronounce it right. He just couldn't. He just couldn't give two
Couldn't
shits
remember
to
it, right.
remember.
Well,
So
because again, he is. Do you think he thought in French?
I don't know. No, I don't, because that would imply he thought.
Oh, so whatever was swirling in the brain, you really couldn't tell what. It was
I
French or
don't know what
English.
was going on in there. I really don't. I tried to make sense of it, and I mean, he was a perfectly fine guy to go get drinks with. But that's about it. That's about all he's good for. So we had this contractor, and I guess we reserved the right to terminate the contract early if we needed to for some reason. And oh good. Dune missed the earlier
Dude.
comment, I think. So anyways,
Yeah, because we said there would be no beans.
there'd be no beans. No, yeah, I had work today, so I drove home yesterday evening. So
How long is that drive?
about 5 hours. So I
Okay.
left after lunch. We had a late lunch after, going on.
Was
the beach
it
from the
was
morning to the
traffic
afternoon.
gnarly?
I don't take 95, so it wasn't that
Well, I
bad.
mean, the way you went, was it gnarly?
No, it was all right. It wasn't too bad.
Okay.
Driving down there, I had a bunch of jams, but coming
What
back,
what day did you go down?
I drove down Friday.
Like after work
Yeah, well,
with everybody else?
I had a half day, so I drove down at 1. But there was
so you should have gotten ahead of at least part of the traffic.
right, but there was a big crash on the section of 91 that I got to drive that backed things up like crazy. And of course, it's bad when cars are cutting everyone off and weaseling their way into
So
the
no
exit
mass
ramp that's
no mass
backed off.
turnpike.
No, I don't. I have no mass turnpikes north of here, and I'm heading south. So yeah, I don't take the mass.
Yeah, but
turnpike.
nobody uses it because there's a toll and you fly like a bat out of hell.
Right, but that doesn't go to Jersey, so that doesn't really do me any good.
Well, that's true.
You
It
don't
would be
get
the
to,
long way around that doesn't.
You
even
don't
go
get
around.
to Jersey by driving to Albany. You heard it here
Right.
first.
Right. That would be the real long way.
That
way
would
around.
be. That would be. If you're driving to Albany to get to Jersey, you've taken a wrong turn at Albuquerque. But so back to this story. So we had this contractor who had a contract to a certain time, but they also had the option to terminate it early if they needed to for whatever reason. So it wasn't a very good contract. But those things are probably typical and probably rarely exercised, or most of the time aren't exercised. But anyways, it was during this time, and this was like in my first few months working at this company. The figures came out that the budget was bad. It was very
Busted.
bad.
Yeah.
And they decided, well, the only way this company can survive is if we cut a third of the employees.
Mother.
Yeah. So basically, they came back and said, "Yeah, your contractor, she got to go," and Nordine didn't want to tell her, "Hey, yeah, at the end of the month, you don't have a job." So Nordine spent the month trying to talk people into finding a way to keep her on. And it wasn't until the very last minute where he found that he could not convince anyone to keep her on that he's like, yeah, at the end of the week, you don't have a job. And she was quite pissed about that because, like, dude, why didn't you tell me when you knew about this, like, earlier.
Total
this-
asshole move. Yeah.
Right. Could have given me more time to find another job, and he felt like he was in the right because I was really trying to keep you here. I was trying to get them to keep you on, and I just wanted to be sure that there was nothing we could do before I gave up on that and told you. But meanwhile, she's like, dude, I don't have a job at the end of the week. Now I have no time to find a new job.
Yeah. Actually, when I was let go for the same reason that I told you about,
Right.
I think I had that day of notice. I think it was gone the end of the day, but I should have seen it coming because
Contract work sucks.
they were laying people off before that. Some were contractors. In fact, what was bizarre is I saw the row of people going out the door that were fired. They were employees. And then the next week, I saw this line of people that were being hired. What the fuck?
I need to reach out to that contractor I was just talking about. I wonder if she's in the market for a new job. Maybe I should send her the job listing. Get her in.
You still have her email address or whatever?
Oh, she added me on her LinkedIn.
Oh, LinkedIn then. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
where
cool.
all coworkers add you.
Absolutely.
LinkedIn is to jobs that like Facebook is to high school.
Yeah.
A bunch of people who you're never going to talk to again that you once worked with are all in your LinkedIn
or high
friends
school
list.
from 50 years ago. I've been connecting with some of my old high school mates that I don't really remember.
Now Dune writes in, do you really believe that he was really trying to keep her? Here's the thing. Nordine is someone I will be very critical about to the very end. But I do believe that he was well-meaning. He was just incompetent.
Or was he just chicken?
I think
he knew he had to lay her off, but he couldn't do anything about it.
I think
and he didn't have the balls to tell her.
Mind you, this was his first supervisory job, so I think there was a bit of chicken shit in there. But I do think he honestly was trying to be like, dude, do we really have to let her go? And then
your problem, Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
You're too fucking nice. Am I right? Am I right, everybody?
You say this as I trash talk this guy for being incompetent. It's like, no, he's not an asshole. He's just incompetent. That's me being too nice.
He gave him. Well, he was clearly an asshole. You still gave him that benefit of the doubt that he wanted to do good. No, he's an asshole.
No, I do believe that the guy wanted to do good.
Yeah, I know. You've already said that.
I'm pretty good at sizing people up, and I don't think that he was trying to be mean or malicious. I think.
Okay, so who have you hired? Who did you hire? Did you hire this next guy?
Well, that's the thing I got to determine. And I'm really torn on this one.
So how did that interview go?
So let me tell you how I got roped into this interview, because after the last interview, I said to my boss, don't put me in a one-on-one interview anymore. I want to be part of group interviews. This is not my skill set. This is not I'm not a manager. Your job is secure. And he laughed and he said, I'm not so sure about that. I'm like, what do you mean by that? Your job better be secure. I like working for you. Don't you? I think that was a joke.
Well, it's the same thing. You know what this guy should have, what skills this guy should have. The manager doesn't have the technical skills. That's why you're in the interview. You are there to ask the technical questions.
But he's got the management skills, So I want.
Yeah, but management doesn't know how the technical guy. Because I've seen some people
and that's
get hired.
Why we would do a group interview.
Well, as a person that has been in group interviews as the potential employee, they suck.
Tough shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, but
I don't know why I called you Sherlock. That made no sense.
Oh, incidentally, so we no, that's fine. That's fine. So actually, Nick and I were interviewing this fella that Nick had worked with, right? For a programming job, and he absolutely had the total skills. but when you
Hmm.
talk to him, he act like he didn't give a shit about the job.
Oh yeah. Well, that
Yeah,
was
so
an
we
old
didn't hire
story.
him. Like, come on, man.
So anyways, the
Throw
point
me a
is
bone.
the point is here is I kind of said I'd prefer to do a group interview rather than one-on-one because this is not my skill. This is not what I'm good at, and it's just not. It's just not. I'm sorry, Brian, but I'm not good at interviewing.
Yeah,
in
but you can
professional
come up with
situations.
technical questions. Yes, you should be somewhat prepared.
So
Look at all the jobs that you do, because he's going to have to do them as well.
So me and my boss had this understanding. All right, okay, we'll schedule you with group interviews going forward. And then this other candidate comes in, and so then my boss reaches out to me and goes, "Well, we have this other candidate. He has absolutely zero IT work experience, but he completed education in IT, and he's really eager to learn, and he's done a lot of stuff with his own home stuff. What do you think?" And I'm like, someone that's done a lot of stuff with their own home stuff could mean a lot of different things, because I did a lot of stuff with my own home stuff and I knew what I was doing and was building on knowledge. But there are also people that, did a lot of stuff with their home stuff, and it's like, yeah, I built my sister a computer. It's got a lot of blinking lights and fancy fans on it. Oh, that's great. What
I like
processor?
Sparky's comments here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but
Well, the one before that.
See, I have never seen contractors that do a good job, at least in the line of work I'm in. My theory is they don't really work for the company, so they do not care about the quality of their work. Maybe other trades are different. I think that's a personality thing.
Well,
Because-
yeah, and that, okay, and I have seen it differently. And yeah, you get a guy that knows what he's doing and he does a decent job. I worked for this company that when they brought you into contract as a contractor, you were the expert, and that's the way you were labeled. And many of these guys, when they were finally hired, they were just another idiot.
Well,
Wait a minute. So the employees were idiots, but as a contractor, you're the hero. It was very bizarre.
that's
Very bizarre.
that sounds bizarre. That makes no sense to me. But I'll tell you,
Of course it didn't.
I'll tell you the way I approached a contract job was I want to shine and stand out here so that they'll want to convert me from contractor to full time. That they'll want me to be around.
Yeah,
And
well, that's
now-
the way I looked at it as well. Yeah.
Now the thing I found out, and that was my job when I first moved to Massachusetts, I was a contractor for Analog Devices, working on their service desk.
Yeah.
And they ended up, they had a policy that you couldn't keep a contractor for longer than 2 years because that would put them in a bit of a legal gray area where they can't really call you a contractor if they're keeping you on long term.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they
A lot
wanted
of
to,
companies have been screwed by that.
so they wanted
So
to make
like
sure,
eBay will bring on a guy for 6
well, we
months.
don't really need to go into eBay because we're talking about analog
Hang on.
devices. Well, you've
But
sidetracked us
eBay
so
would do
much
that.
today.
But at 6 months, you were gone forever, never to come back.
Yeah, that sucks.
And they use a lot of contractors. How
so
the hell does things keep working?
well. What really sucked. Analog Devices really screwed themselves, and this
Sure.
is. I'll
Sure.
tell this story and then we'll get back to the interview thing. So they hired me on as a contractor, and I pretty much knew from what I was talking about that I had 2 years to sort this out before they would, get rid of
Yeah.
me. And it turned out that they had this whole focus on head count. And the guy I replaced
Oh yeah.
was an employee, but
Yeah.
when they let him go and brought me on as a contractor, there was a contractor in another IT department that they brought on full time because they had an available spot in the head count. So they chewed up my position into contractor and didn't have room to backfill me as an employee. So I was basically, I made it very clear to my supervisor, I want a full-time job. I'm looking for a full-time job. You want me
And if
here.
there's nothing for you, then
You want
you're
me
gonna
here.
go.
You bring me on full time. When I'm here, and I'll shine and I'll show you I could do this. But if you want me long term, find me a job. And we had a very good respect for each other and a good understanding. Now there was another guy I worked with. Let's call him Dave, because that's his name. Actually, we could call him Mr. Magoo. because was in desperate need of cataract surgery and kept pushing it off. And that got scary when he almost ran someone over on his way to work.
So he was driving by the Braille method.
He's driving by the scream method, I think, is what happened that morning. And that is when he finally stopped driving until he got the cataract surgery. I guess it's one of those things that the eyesight gradually goes. So, like, you drive the next day, and then you reach a point where you realize you're struggling to see, but you still got to do your daily routine. And I gave him a hard time. Like, I teased him relentlessly about his blind driving because he's, like, barely walking around the building. And it's like, dude, you're seriously getting behind. I'm getting out. Give me a half-hour head start before you leave.
Right. Or can I just drive you?
So there was one morning, and I shouldn't joke about it because it was very serious. There was one morning he almost ran someone over that was crossing the street, and that really shook him up. And I'm
Well, of course, people don't make eye contact today.
Yeah. Well,
these pedestrians just go for it. What the hell?
So, anyways, the point is that he was working there as a contractor for longer than the 2-year limit because they kept extending him. Like kept making an exception for him because he was really good, but they had no room to backfill and hire him as an employee, and everyone liked him, and they didn't want to find a new replacement. So it reached the point where legal was putting their foot down. The end of this contract, you cannot renew him, and
Sure.
So that really sucked for him because he's coming up on this, and he's worked. I think he worked there for like 10 years under this 2-year policy. So
yeah.
he was a regular.
Rules are
there.
meant to be
Right.
broken.
But they legal came down hard, and IT did not have a position for him. So what really sucked was that when his contract came up is when I got my job offer at Enernoc. And so I basically took my boss aside, and I'm like, hey, I want to give you this heads up. And he goes, what is this about your future with the company? And I'm like, yeah, or lack thereof. I'm gone at the end of the month. I got a full-time offer, and the thing is that they decided that they were going to restructure our department to be outsourced to another third-party company, so that way they could keep long-term contractors in the role because they're not hiring the contractors. They're hiring a company that they're contracting to that has full-time employees that work as a contractor for us. And he's like, we can't tell them to hire you, but we will strongly recommend you to them so you can get hired by them and continue to be a contractor for us. But the thing is that was still in the works. So Dave got fired before he could get rehired to keep the job on the managed resource contract type of thing. So I basically took my boss aside. I said, hey, you're going to want to try to extend Dave another 6 months or something because I'm gone at the end of the month. His contract's up at the end of the month. You're going to lose. And we were basically the two service desk guys. So we were the two people running the department. And I said, you're going to want to do you want to lose us both at the same time? He's like, I can't. And besides, they transferred him to manage another team, and they brought another manager to manage service desk. So this new guy at the end of the month is managing service desk, and he's got no employees. And that is how Analog Devices screwed themselves.
Yeah.
And what was funny was one of the other people in the department, she was just delighted at this. Like, hey, did you hear? They're both leaving at the end of the month. They have no one to work here. She was so delighted at how screwed. She had a great love for the company she worked for. Sparky Toaster writes in, loud pipes save lives.
Yeah, I saw that. That's funny.
Dune writes in, my wife's dad, before he was pronounced legally blind, would compensate for his eyesight by just smashing the gas pedal when pulling out in traffic. In a way, it's a sound theory. Yeah.
Well,
that
have you
that is a
seen these
sound.
things about people that either they're blind or they blind themselves so they learn how to navigate by sound?
Okay.
Sometimes they'll walk, they'll put on a blindfold and they'll have a clicker. So they'll like walk down a hallway and they hear the reflections from the clicker. Click, click.
Oh, they're
click,
learning sonar.
Basically
Yeah.
human sonar. It's not as accurate as other critters, but
Yeah.
yeah. So all you need to do is honk your horn repeatedly and have the side windows open so you can hear the echoes.
I think driving by honking your horn repeatedly isn't about sonar. It's about getting people to clear the fuck out of the way.
Well,
although
that helps too.
that
or what you do, you should be able to program. Today you should be able to program the sound your horn makes, right? So
yeah.
you just kind of hit it, and you get a click, 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 click. Because you need a sharp sound. Like
Yeah.
a clicker.
Yeah.
Horn is kind of too.
But anyways, so that was Analog Devices. That we got a new manager, and he got no employees. And so on the one hand, he got to build his own department from the ground up, but on the other hand,
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's a plus.
yeah,
Let's
the other
see.
hand,
We gotta
day
get
one,
this stuff done, but you don't have any employees, so
yeah. So
I
me
think
and
we'll
Dave,
fire you too. What the hell?
I mean, they did not have people lined up to start the day after me and Dave exit. So there was probably at least a week, more likely 2 or 3, of there being like no service desk employees, and the sysadmins who they were also a siloed company that anytime I tried to ask for help from the sysadmins, they would be friendly dismissive. They weren't Enernoc dismissive. They were friendly dismissive. So they probably had to basically pitch in and actually do some real work. But
so I had interviewed with, and I'd heard about how they work. I had interviewed with HP.
Okay.
And what the word was that's a company that would pigeonhole you. So if you were hired for this one job, that's all you'd ever do. There was no moving around. There was no learning other things. You were doing just that, period. And I kind of go, I hope I don't get an offer, sir. And I didn't get an offer.
There you go. Sparky writes in that his horn would be a shotgun sound.
Well, there's that. You see, that's why it should be programmable.
That'll get people
today
to clear
will be a
out.
shotgun. Here I'm coming, and then may have a flag that pops out of a thing, right? So you're flying a flag, right?
Sparky Toaster jokes about driving around making shotgun sound. This is a joke a white person makes. Did I say that out loud?
No. Oh no, and I didn't laugh at it either.
Dune writes in, explain the difference between the two dismissive types. I don't know. I got the feeling that the dismissiveness I got at Analog Devices was more along the lines of they were busy in their world and they were kind of you know what? They're both very similar. It's just that I don't hold a grudge against the sysadmins at Analog Devices that dismissed me. I felt like that they genuinely would like to help me, but they really were too busy to. Whereas Enernoc, they were just assholes. Well, here's the big difference. The big difference is when I asked for help from the people at Analog Devices, they would be dismissive. But if with a little bit of pushback, I'd get a little bit of help, and we all still got along. Whereas at Enernoc, when I legit needed help from a sysadmin, and I'd have to bend over backwards to prove to them that this was something that they couldn't tell me to fuck off about and was genuinely their responsibility, they would begrudgingly help me and then complain to my boss about me for being annoying. And once again, Nordine, he did not have my back. He did not push back at them at all. And I would explain to Nordine that, dude, this This is their responsibility. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't because this, and this. Now, if they want to give me access to this and train me up on this and pay me for that, fine, but they don't. And Norby would be like, yeah, okay, well, could you try to be nicer about it? And I'm like, dude, I was nice. I went up and I asked. They pushed back. I went and lined up and explained it all and gathered all the... I did all the legwork for them. So that's really what the difference is that the people at Internoc were assholes. The people at Analog Devices were nice. Although then again, I said Nordine was well-meaning. But so I'm very contradictory.
There you go, talking out your ass again.
Sparky Toaster confirming my theory. I'm just going to go, yeah, did I say that out loud? Let's back away from that. So back to the interviewing. So after me and
or do we follow that up, gee, Sparky, American flag or Confederate flag? I didn't answer that question.
And not that there's anything wrong with either of those options. But maybe there is something wrong with one of those options, but maybe we don't want to go there. But
hey, I like the Duke of Hazzards. Back then again, having that painted on the top of your car was cool.
No, Sparky flies the
human race flag. Yeah, whatever that looks like.
Dune writes in, you have a real history of first-time bosses. I do, don't I? I do. No, I've had two of them, basically. Nordine and Mai Fong were first-time bosses. And Mai Fong was very well-meaning, and we had disagreements, and there was probably error on both of our sides on that. Nordine was just bad at it. But anyways, so after the first interview, I told my boss I'd really rather do group interviews, and he said, okay, I understand, blah, blah, blah. So then he asked me about this guy that's got no real work experience, but he does stuff at home. And I say, well, that could mean a lot of things. I'd have to talk to the guy to know what that even means before I could make any recommendation. And he said, oh, okay, we'll schedule you for a phone call. And so late last week, an invite comes in for a one-on-one phone call for this morning. So, yeah, but at least this time I knew what I was walking into when I went to bed last night to think about tomorrow morning. So this morning I had a one-on-one phone call with this guy with no real life experience, but he has schooling in IT. He has a certain certification, like an A+ certification, something like that. And he's done, and then he listed on things that he did is that he built like a network and Pi-hole and VPN in his home network. So I was able to kind of talk to him, and
he was a hobbyist.
He's a hobbyist, but he also went to school for it, and he's really looking to learn more. And it sounds like that, he built some things with Raspberry Pi, but also the things he built were a lot of the types of things that you could probably find YouTube guides to walk you through, and he did it. So it's hard to say how much that means or not. And he was very nervous. You could tell he was kind of nervous and almost had kind of a robotic way of speaking. I didn't feel like I was having a friendly conversation with someone. I felt like
the guy was a total nerd.
Yeah, well, no.
Don't hold that against him.
It wasn't a nerd thing. It was he wasn't relaxed. And
well, he was also. This is probably one of his first interviews ever, right?
Yeah,
How old was the guy?
I don't want to hold it against him, but it also.
No, I'm just saying. He's probably new at it. You kind of have to let that go.
But it also made me feel like that his responses were like pre-programmed. Like I wanted to get some real thought out of him, and he was just kind of given the. But I'm not very good at interviewing either, so I don't know what I'm doing. So we were two people who don't know what we're doing trying to conduct a job interview, which is. But I did throw some tech troubleshooting things at him. He didn't really demonstrate a very methodical troubleshooting process, but then again, I've built my methodical troubleshooting process over years, so I'm trying to figure out if this is something he can build on.
First time out of his mom's basement. Sparky. But I do like the other comment. Yeah, how old was he? Any
No,
guesses?
I mean, early 20s. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, he went to college, right?
Yeah, he graduated from his program recently, months ago. So now he's looking for real IT work.
Yeah.
Now, Doom wants to give an example. Well, I asked him about different things. Like, I actually went into the ticket queue and pulled up tickets I had recently resolved or worked on to try to get some examples of things. Although it's really hard to... But I wanted to be generic about it too, to get some thought process out of him, and then I could try to zero in on some of those thoughts and see where he goes with it. So one thing I brought up was that I had someone who had a laptop that the microphone stopped working. So really, all I wanted him to say was, try to check check the settings in the software, check the sound settings in Windows, check the device manager, reinstall the driver. He did suggest checking the sound settings in the application, but he didn't think to check the driver. Also, not once did he ever suggest rebooting the laptop.
That would have been my first thought.
That's a big
well, let's see.
problem that he never... And the thing is, I kind of get that, because a lot of times it's assumed that you do that, or it's known you do that, so you don't... But I always say that in an interview. I always start my thing in an interview with a troubleshooting question going, well... I would first ask if a reboot was tried. So let's, assume we're past the reboot and this is still happening. Because so I always make sure to point out that I know that's the starting point. Always start with a reboot. Now let's really dig it. So maybe in his mind he was skipping past the obvious and thinking this ain't the obvious question. But he still didn't say it.
Maybe his thought pattern is based on Linux, where rebooting is not what you do. You restart the process.
Oh, I made it clear we're talking about Windows.
Well, but he could be still thinking Linux.
Yeah. No, anyways.
Of course, Linux more and more is going toward reboot the damn computer, like Apple does.
So he never once suggested a reboot. The microphone issue, he never thought to check the driver or try to reinstall the driver. Now, I did give him one where, hey, laptop keyboard stopped working. And at first he kind of like, well, maybe the number lock's on. Is it the whole keyboard or just some of the keys? And I'm like, no, none of the keys on the keyboard are working. But you plug in a USB keyboard, those keys are working. And then he goes, well, I would probably pull up the, like the device manager. I pull that up there. I take a look in there and there, the device. And I'm like, okay, bingo, you got it. Check the driver. So he passed that. But he still didn't suggest a reboot before checking that. But okay.
But sometimes what you do, and this happened on this machine that I'm on, Windows 10, the damn thing isn't working, so I yank out the USB stub, because it's wireless, wait a few seconds, pop it back in, so it reloads the drivers and reconnects, and it's fine.
Right, but this is the built-in keyboard of the laptop.
Well, but he said you said USB.
I said
keyboard.
The USB keyboard is working. The built-in keyboard is not.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that. Okay, all right. Go. Yeah. That's
and
cool.
then the other thing is that I also feel like that even though now he has completed an education, a college education for computer type of things, and training for computers, so he's clearly interested in a career in IT. But when I asked him where does he see himself going with his career, he really didn't once again speak to something with much focus. He kind of meandered a bit with, well, I'd like to, work my way up, team leader stuff. And then he said, oh, I want to help people. Help desk is what I want. And so I feel like he kind of thought about it and decided the right answer to what job you want is the job you're applying for.
Yeah. Sure.
And that doesn't
that's
tell.
Fine. That's fine. It
But that
doesn't tell you anything.
Doesn't tell me anything though. So it's like it tells.
At
me
least
that,
he knows what he's applying for, right?
Right. So
Certainly better than the guy that really doesn't give a crap about what the job is.
So it's I don't. So the thing is that he's got a desire. He's got some. He's been using Windows since the XP days, because I asked him, what version of Windows did you start on? What versions have you used? What do you think of them? Because I wanted to get him to start to give me some insight into his thoughts of doing things, give him to talk a bit about some of his background. And
so if he was started with XP, he was like 9 years old or 5 years old.
I don't know. I mean, we're talking about the first family computer probably. So it was...
Again, he probably was pretty young.
Wait, well, some people held on to XP a long time, though.
Oh,
Some
that's
people still use XP.
Sure.
I know of
Yeah,
some
yeah,
old timer programmers.
Okay,
that-
hang on. I got to go pee.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Okay. Now we can tell the story. Now, Sparky writes in, maybe he does not know what options there are in the workforce, and that's a fair assessment. Now, Dune writes in, so when you call for help and they ask if you reboot it, you respect them for asking and don't use the F-bomb under your breath? Well, Dune, when I call and ask for help, I give a detailed explanation of everything I've already done, which means I've told them about the multiple times I've rebooted. So, yes, I do use the F-bomb under my breath, but it's not because they shouldn't ask if they rebooted. It's because they should know that I've already tried that and I'm still having the problem. So I mutter the F-bomb under my breath. I pause. I gather my strength together, and I say, well, I already did that, but let's go ahead and try that one more time. And I do try it one more time. And then we continue on. And then I repeat everything I said up to that point because I realize they haven't been fucking listening to me. And then I wait for the next dumb thing for them to say that indicates they haven't listened to me because they're telling me to try something else I've already tried. And I go, listen, I tried this. I tried that. I tried this. I tried that. I know the problem exists somewhere in this realm, but I can't figure out why or how. What do we do next? And that's where the person I'm talking to doesn't know or knows less than I do, and that's really means that they should escalate me. But they don't want to escalate me because they have to go through a certain amount of steps in troubleshooting before they escalate. So it's a game of me muttering under my breath, but trying to be sympathetic, but really trying to get them to escalate me as fast as possible because I know I need to get escalated. I know this person can't help me. So thank you for getting me on that tangent there. Let's see. How do you know he was young? It's against the law to ask in any way, shape, or form. I don't. Now, mind you, it was a video call with him. And also, I know that he finished this education program. So I didn't ask him his age. And I really also don't care about his age. In fact, I didn't even bring up his age. I think Brian asked what his age is. So based on what I observed in here, that's the age bracket I'm observing, but I'm not taking that into any consideration or thinking about that in any way, shape, or form. Let's see. Tell the story interrupted now that Brian's gone. Have you tried reversing the bread in the toaster? A dude I work with, you could tell when he is getting pissed. She says, like I said, oh, I've used like I've said. And sometimes I have to, you know what? Sometimes I just say it and I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be accurate. And then I realize how passive aggressive it sounds. And so I backspace it out. But I do by default include a like I said when I repeat myself. And I have no feelings of maliciousness or aggravation every time I use it, although sometimes I do. But a lot of times I just type it out just because it's my manner of speaking. And so I actually have to make efforts to hold that one back.
No, and I agree with it with Dune. Yeah, you can't ask the person how old the person is, but you could tell.
Yeah, and I could tell. I mean, like it was a video
Yeah,
call.
I mean the first. Let's see, he hasn't worked before. He just got out of college. Duh. That put somewhere around 22 to 25.
Now, Brian, let me ask
Probably
you.
can't ask him if he lives in his mother's basement.
Probably can't ask that. No.
Right.
Although maybe one could suggest that my asking what version of Windows he started working on could be a indirect way of asking one's age. But anyways,
Well, not really. I mean, after all, like you say, people are still using XP.
yeah, no, that was a joke. Now the
No,
thing
no,
is,
it's true. Wasn't Venison still using XP?
I think he was actually on 7, by the time we
Yeah.
we got him on 7. He's
Well,
still
let's
like
see. When
98.
did 10 come out?
Well, I don't know. I think you might be right. He might have. I think I sent him a laptop with 7 on it, and he may have downgraded it to XP.
Yeah. Again, of course, individual users, they'll do that. Companies won't stay that far back, right? Unless
No,
they've got a proprietary equipment to hang on, like
And-
the plant. Weren't there some plants at Tharco that were still using DOS?
Well, not quite exactly, but the corrugator machine
Yeah.
was running some kind of proprietary operating system that actually had Windows 3.1 under the hood. And the only reason I know that is because there was a trackball built in the console had all the hardware built in. But it was all off the shelf hardware. So the trackball that's built into there is basically running into a serial port like a mouse would run in.
Right.
The
The good old days when Logitech made a track. Does anybody make a trackball anymore?
The displays that were built into the console were CRT monitors that used VGA connections.
Yeah.
So when the tube died, they put an LCD monitor on top of the counter and ran the VGA cord into the back of the machine. When the trackball died, they came to me and they asked me if I had any serial mice on hand. And I called our sales guy from our supplier and I asked him if he could order us any serial mice. He spent half a day looking. He called me back. He said, they have 3 in stock. I said, buy all 3. And then
the guy says, "This is a mouse. I need a trackball."
well, no. So they just ran the mouse cord through a hole in the console and plugged it into the port on the back of the machine. But then Eddie Tooker came back and he said, "Hey, do you have a Windows 3.1 install disk?" And I'm like, Eddie, what the heck kind of what? And he said, "Well, the console, we swapped out the trackball for the mouse that you gave us." And a window popped up asking for Windows 3.1 install disk number 3. And I said, don't ask me where I got it, but I'll get you one. And we had some floppy disks in the file cabinet. And I installed uTorrent on my work computer. I went and found a torrent download for Windows 3.1 install disks. And I downloaded the disk images. And I had a USB to floppy drive. And I made him a set of Windows 3.1 disks and said, here you go. Don't ever tell anyone I gave you this. And now, Dune, I never actually used that console. I only saw the wires and the thing, so I couldn't tell you a thing about the program on there. I just know that when they hooked up a mouse, it asked them for a Windows 3.1 disk. And then there was also the cutting table that the design department in Seattle was using that still had hardware that would only interface with Windows 98. But I've talked about that machine a few times. But the thing is that really continuing to run legacy machines in a corporate environment is enough of a liability that I think Microsoft's licensing agreements even forbid it. That, as a company with a licensing agreement with Microsoft, that's not legal to continue to run an unsupported OS in a corporate environment. And I've been told that. Now I have been told that by assholes that are like, shut up.
Well, but if you have some equipment like the corrugator that's running Windows 3.1, what do you do?
That's the corrugator.
Do you go to the corrugator manufacturer and say, "Hey, Microsoft says I cannot use Windows 3.1 anymore because it's obsolete. What do you got, man?"
I have a feeling when it comes to the corrugator, that's a little different, being that it's not really running a Windows 3.1 desktop. It's running its own system that has that Windows 3.1 under the hood. That probably falls under its own licensing agreement when that was initially put in. But plus it's not on the network. And plus, if someone from Microsoft came in and did an audit it wouldn't turn up on anything because it's not networked
Yeah.
and it's not obvious.
Actually, I
Um,
have a solar monitor that is a proprietary device.
mhm.
There isn't even a connection to connect a terminal or a keyboard to.
Hmm.
You connect to it through an internet connection. So I'm on a local network, so I can connect to it there. But it goes into a proprietary website type of thing. I know that it's Windows, but I don't know what version. I don't have access to looking at that.
Now Dune has some friends that I think he might know some things from, but Dune points out in his experience, cut tables are notorious for old ops. They are never on a network. Yeah, I don't. That I think I know in San Lorenzo the cut table desktop was on the network because the
Yeah,
design,
because they would send the data to it.
the designs were on the network.
Yeah.
So, but also San Lorenzo updated theirs when it got old because San Lorenzo had a better budget. Seattle, when it reached the point that upgrading the table would mean a $10,000 upgrade to get a new version and a new hardware interface to tie into the table, they didn't have the budget for it. So they left that machine on 98, and I think that machine might have still been on the network up to a certain point. And that was the type of thing that I had no idea about that machine until one day Schmitty gets on the line and goes, our table machine's down. We can't get it up and running. And we're like, oh, okay.
Did you reboot?
Can we send you another machine? And he goes, well, it needs to have Windows 98 on it. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And that's when I had to confirm that, yeah, this hardware will not work with anything beyond 98. And I'm like, fuck, shit. Fuck. And also, so yeah, that at that point that got off the network, and that's the only thing that machine did. And I actually cloned it.
How did you get the data files to them? Use a USB stick?
They probably had a USB stick or some way to do that, but
Okay.
but yeah, they basically had to get it off the network, and then my favorite part of the story is they buy the new table eventually, and then I go over there and Danny Beers, and I have to say that
Yeah.
because I just love that last name.
Yeah.
He was a sales
like-
guy up there.
Yeah.
He found his opportunity to get some extra product out there by taking the old table and setting it up out in the plant floor someplace to do some work. And he asked me some questions about it, and I said, wait, what? That table's been retired. He's like, no, well, it's still working, so I'm going to use it while it's still working. I'm like, okay, when it stops working, I don't know who you are. I don't want to hear about it. You know that
Yeah, we retired that.
do not take any work that relies on that table, because I don't care if that table dies in the middle of it. You go, oh no, this is all extra stuff. I'm like, okay, because I do not support that. Is not under support from anyone, and that's not under support from me. So as long as we have an understanding that you go ahead, you do what you want with that while it works, but once that stops working, that's it. It's done, finished, game over. Now, Dune writes in, VM to the rescue. Well, this is before we had a good VM environment, although we did have some VMs because we virtualized the web servers before the last of those died, and had those running on a series of VMs that we. But even then, those VMs were hard to maintain because those were running on Windows Server NT, and it was running on this web.
Obsolete hardware, software.
Yeah, well, the real problem is that the software that ran the web site on those servers was called HAHT, HAHT.
Yeah.
And they were acquired by another company, and it reached a point that no one worked anymore that knew anything about that software. So how do I turn this off?
These.
Oh, there we
this-
go.
this-
Thank
oh,
you.
Good.
Thank you, 69mega.com. Now, to be fair, at the beginning of the show, I said I was here for the porn. So
So you called this guy in.
I really invited this. This is my fault. This is what I asked for because you tried to pretend you were conducting an interview. Why am I here on Twitch? And I said I'm here for the porn sites. And see, Brian, you told me that they didn't have that here, but I proved you wrong. Now who looks like an idiot?
I surrender.
And speaking of the porn sites, we've got Mars on the line.
Hey.
I have no idea what you're talking about, sir.
Well, I blocked them, so it deleted all of them. But someone wrote in a bunch of messages for 69mega.com. Although they could have came in through the YouTube side.
Did you put that in the whiteboard?
I did not. I already blocked the user, so I can't even show it on the screen anymore. It deleted them.
Okay.
But
well, you can see the ghost of them.
But
No, it's with an X on it.
But yeah, well, we could see the ghost of it. 69mega.com, new AI dating for all tastes and ages.
Oh, all tastes.
Yeah. Well, typically aren't there just two tastes when it comes to six? Well, I guess everyone's got their own taste, but dude says not here.
There could be many tastes. Yeah.
No, it's funny. Dude goes 69, what? And then Mod Pro goes, oh, 69. Do we have to have a chat with Dune about positions?
Explained it to him.
Kind of a head-to-toe type of thing, you know, where you...
I don't know. Don't ask me. I have no idea.
So how are you, Mars?
Very full.
Full.
I was at Black Bear. Sorry, that's where it was.
Oh, chicken fried steak?
No, tri-tip.
Tri-tip. Oh, that's the other good one.
Yeah. It was that or slow cooked pot roast, and I went for the tri-tip.
Now, did you get the dessert?
No. I did not get dessert. I'm so full, I barely made it to a car to get home. Just saying. I don't live that far, but someone brought me over there, brought me back, and paid for it, so I'm not complaining.
I gotta tell you, one of the things I miss most about California is I can't just spontaneously go like, hey, Mars, wanna go get something to eat?
Well, you could, but I'm not making it. Oh, yeah. Gary Busey?
I don't remember what Gary Busey said about oral sex, but I have a feeling we need to Google this now. This sounds like
is that TOS?
I probably not, but no one watches our show anyway.
Well, you probably have like 5 or 6 people.
Okay. You know what? This is one of these moments where
Six. I see 6.
Yeah, see, there you go. 6.
There's one of them is me.
I've now reached one of these moments in my life where I need to stop and pause and reassess all the choices I've made that led me to this point and really decide if I really want to press enter. Because right now I have just typed in a Google search of Gary Busey oral sex, and I'm thinking, do I really want to hit enter on that?
You might get some video gators.
Is that really what all the things the internet can bring me, is this really the search that I want?
Gators, if you click on that, you might get a free 3-week vacation.
Oh, well, I do like vacations.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gary Busey charged with sex crimes at Monster Mania 1 day ago, 2 days ago. What was? Oh, so this is recent. Maybe. I don't know. What's
At what? A monster?
Local police responded to multiple complaints that Busey, 78, had groped at least 2 victims, and Busey was charged with 2 counts of 4th-degree criminal sexual contact, 1 count of attempted criminal sexual comment and harassment. It was about contact. It was about touching. Is this the story we're talking about?
I don't know if it has to do with Gary Busey and oral. I don't know.
Well, now this starts to go into his history with Celebrity Apprentice and certain people knowing things. And then, let's see. And then they talk about his motorcycle crash. I don't see anything about oral sex with Gary Busey, though. I'm kind of relieved.
Well, that's why you have to type in Pornhub before that, Gators, and then type in Gary Busey.
Oh, there you go.
Let's see.
No, don't do that, by the way. Don't do that, by the way. I don't know.
do that.
I have no idea, but don't do that anyway.
A
Dune
quote
says
from
it's a
DC.
quote from a DC cab. Okay. Let's see. DC cab, Gary Busey. Okay. All right. Let's see here. If this is what.
200-watt amplifier, 6 speakers, and a power booster. What's this?
This is Gary Busey's stereo.
Oh. Wow, he's rocking.
Okay. That's.
Oh.
I like the stereo. Okay, so that didn't. That's because I left out oral sex. Okay, so now we need to add sex to the search, and now we're back to sex offense charges.
Yeah.
Dune, I'm not finding the quote we're looking for here. Look for the words. Anyways. Well, I do have this quote that has something to do with Wangs. We could bring that one up here.
One thing
I
wanted to see
told.
before I got muted again.
It was funny.
And
Music by Chance and I had this conversation. I think when we were eating Wangs together. Wait, no, wait.
Oh.
Wings. What the?
Wow.
I just,
Wow.
So we have that quote. Is that? I don't think that's the
Sorry,
quote Dune was
Dune. I didn't
thinking
do
of.
it. I didn't do it, Dune. I didn't do
did
it.
I did it. This guy right here. I did it. That was me right here, right now. Johnny
poor-
Gators, August
poor
22nd,
Dune.
brought
Poor
up the
Dune.
Dune quote about the Wangs.
Oh. Well.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. He didn't hear the Pence comment from earlier, so we're all good. No, it's okay, Sparky. I didn't tell him that you sent me the link.
Pencil, he said. Pencil.
Pencil, yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Wow, how many wrong things could I say within 30 seconds? All right.
know. I don't know.
All right, so Brian wants to know what the deal is with the cake. Well, it really was.
I mean, that is our topic.
The
Well, I
cake?
could-
There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
cake.
Well, I have a pair of twin nephews who turned one.
Oh,
this
yay.
Past week. So
All right.
So we
One
celebrate.
is the loneliest number.
Yeah, but there's two of them, so they're not lonely. And so
Then
they,
it's two.
so we
One
celeb-
plus one is two.
So we celebrated their first birthday this past Saturday, and of course there was cake. And so I was quite thrilled to have an opportunity to take the Super 8 movie camera that was used to film my first birthday and use it to film someone else's first birthday.
Wait, did you use the one that
So-
works or the other one?
What's that?
Do you use the one that works or the other one?
I use the broken one that also
Oh.
works.
The 2-year-olds aren't good. Oh, okay. Dune found something.
1-year-old. Yeah. Dune found. Let me go ahead and pull that up now. So here's the quote that Dune.
Vernon, you know the only thing wrong with oral sex? Huh? The view. Oh, shit. The view.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, I can't add anything to that. That's just perfect as it is.
Back to cake. So you took your Super 8 that didn't work.
Well.
Now, did you use expired film, or are you into new film?
No, it's not that it doesn't work. It's that it's not in the new condition. See, yes, and I use expired film. And that's why I use the camera that basically the original camera that was used to film my first birthday movie no longer has a working light sensor, so it always detects a low light and opens the aperture all the way, which happens to be the best way to use an aperture on expired film. So it's the perfect camera to use expired film.
Perfect situation, yeah.
Yeah. No, I laughed. That was.
Of course,
that was
the
funny,
other
though.
one, you could actually take a piece of black tape and put it over that sensor, and you'll get the same result.
I think the sensor is built in with the lens and that type of stuff somewhere. There's not an obvious sensor external.
Oh,
anywhere.
okay, so it's
I
some
really
kind of
don't
internal.
know. I don't know
All
where
right.
that sensor is or how it works.
Well,
So
you could open it up and just yank it out of there.
Besides, it's more fun. It's more fun to take a first birthday movie with the camera that took my first birthday movie than it is to take a first birthday movie with a camera that's the same
Yeah,
model
totally.
as the camera. So,
Did this have
I-
a headlight on it?
So you're
no,
the
it's-
young Paul, is that correct?
yeah.
Okay.
It's my stepbrother had twins a year ago, and they just turned
Oh,
one.
neat.
So yeah,
That's cool.
So of course I have not developed the film yet, and it's probably
So
not
that makes
cool.
you a step uncle, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they're step nephews, but who cares? They're nephews.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I have not developed the film yet, so I don't know if it came out or how well.
Oh,
it came
so
out.
we're not going to be seeing this.
And well, also I
A
don't
whole
think it's,
episode based on this moment, and you're not ready for it.
well, also it's not cool to share movies of other people's kids publicly, so I probably won't anyways. But I could share the movie of me eating cake instead. So
And you have that movie.
Oh,
Of
of
course he
course
does.
I do. Of
You haven't
course I
watched this
have
one
that.
yet,
Go
Brian?
for it.
Bro, you
You
haven't
have
watched
not-
this one yet?
You haven't watched this? We got to we
Well,
got to
we're
pull.
going with the theme, man.
Yeah, all
You
right.
got to
let
show
me-
it.
All right, I'm pulling it up now and queuing it up because I got to queue it up past the part where you see me in my diaper in my crib, because we do not need to share that with the world. So I have my limits, and
Oh.
that is
Okay.
it. I am not going to bring up movies of me in a diaper. That is my limit. Now maybe I could be convinced to wear a diaper for donations, but I'm still
Right,
for
but we're
time
not
now.
collecting money, so
We're not
not-
doing
no
a talk on
problem.
this year, right?
No, we're not. No, we're
I didn't
not.
think
So,
so.
otherwise, I totally would. But
Oh.
but here we go. Here's me doing a little bit of walking, holding myself up, and that is. But if I hit play, it cuts to the next scene, which is me sitting in the high chair in the kitchen, in a lovely bright orange kitchen, and you can't hear the laughter, but you can see the laughter. I think it's been said
before
that,
they had the steady cam, right?
yeah, this is not a steady cam.
No.
This is the opposite of a
They
steady
did not
cam.
have OIS
Who is
in those
holding,
days.
who's holding the camera? Do you know?
My dad is holding the camera.
Yeah, so he sucks at it.
That doesn't look
Just
like the cake
kidding.
he saw.
Apparently, there are some loud, distinct laughers in my family, and
Okay.
and and I can almost hear them in my head right now. So I think that when everyone's laughing, that makes everyone laugh more. So it's that type of a situation going on.
Well,
If there was sound.
laughter is contagious.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so my dad is not immune to the laughter while trying to film this, and so that is.
Dune says that doesn't look like cake. Yeah, I agree. That looks like a mess.
And no, Sparky, my parents do not still have the same house. We up and there I gagged a little on that, but
It's okay. It's okay.
we moved out. We moved out of that house in '85. That house is in Piscataway, and then we moved to Hillsboro. So yeah, so that's a movie about cake. Now there's another movie about cake that we can't show on here for TOS reasons. But
Oh.
if you'd like to see it,
Uh-oh.
but once again, if you're here for the porn, you might try cake farts. So go ahead and Google cake farts.
That
And,
sounds like a perfectly good waste of a cake. No. Poor cake. Someone made that cake. Someone thought someone was going to eat that cake, and then someone sits on it.
Now Sparky is suggesting that I should recreate this scene many years later.
What, cake farts or the eating of the cake? Which one? Sparky? You did not? Yeah,
so,
dude,
so
dude
Sparky,
says
you're
right.
suggesting that Johnny should redo it as him being the star?
Oh, eating as a kid. Okay. Thank
Who
you.
would be the camera person?
Well, that
One
Well,
of the cats?
that is it. Well, I have a tripod. Although we'd have to get tripod.
No,
needs
you need to be
stationary.
shaky.
It needs to be shaky. Now, if you are curious about cake farts, but you don't want to actually see cake farts, the YouTuber Wang did a 15-minute video all about cake farts. So, are you familiar with Wang? WHANG?
No.
Oh, all right. Look.
Gators, does it always come down to Wang?
Well, this is with an H. It's
Oh,
not
okay.
This isn't the type of wangs that Dune was eating.
Oh, okay.
This is the type of wang that talks on the internet. But although I guess if your wang is talking to you, you might be smoking something. Anyways, no, Wang is a YouTuber that does videos about things on the internet or stories. But like Wang did a video all about the Goatsy guy, who he is, and how those pictures came to be. I think he and it's not all sick stuff. Some of it's is just he does good videos. Check out his YouTube channel. Let's see, he did a video about the Pain Olympics video. Let's see, he did a video about the Brazilian who nutted in his Dreamcast. That was an interesting story I had never heard before.
Oh, poor Dreamcast.
I refuse to click the
Dude.
video that is called Reddit Urethra Magnets. I don't want to know. I do not want to know. I do not want to know. He did a video about Brian Peppers. You remember Brian Peppers?
No.
No.
He was a guy that I think he was a guy that showed up on one of the his mugshot showed up on one of those informational sites of offenders in certain areas, and he had a very distorted looking face, so it went viral. And so he did a video about the history of how that went viral, the different ways it went viral, and what we know about the guy, and some things that might be true or some things that have not been confirmed or aren't true. So he does a lot of interesting YouTube videos that go into research and history of certain like viral type of things that on the internet, things like that. And also sometimes he does video about lost media or found lost media and how it was found. So the point is that Wang did do a video about the cake farts video and how that went viral, and actually a bit of the backstory of how that video came to be. And it is an interesting video. So if you're interested in what cake farts is, but you don't want to actually watch cake farts because for TOS reasons, Wang doesn't actually show the source material in these informational videos, you might just look up Wang's video about cake farts. Dune says, wait, did you say Olympics? Sorry, I was drifting. No, there was a viral video called Pain Olympics, which I've never watched it because it's one of those ones that I know is so bad I don't want to. Sparky Toaster's opening up the Captain Crunch cereal box.
Hopefully no Crunch Berries, because those are stupid.
Okay, all right. Tell you what I'm going to do. Dune's asking, so I'm just going to post a link, and we'll let Dune and all you bookmark this for later, because you're going to want to stay here. That is the spelling. So stay here, because we got another 15 minutes, and then also stay here for the raid. Enjoy the raid. Enjoy whoever we raid. And then, after you're done with that,
Good.
click that YouTube link and find out all you ever want to know. Because the topic is movies about cake. And Cake Farts is a movie about cake. Just like my first birthday video is a movie about cake. And
you have one.
But there was laughing instead of
farts.
No.
Right.
Gators.
And everyone kept their pants on.
Were there 2 cakes or was there 1 cake?
In Cake Farts, there's only one
No,
cake.
with the 1-year-olds.
Actually, technically there were 2 cakes, but there was 1 cake for the 1-year-olds, and then there was another small cake for their father, because he just recently had a birthday too.
Did he get a smaller cake than the 2-year-olds?
Yes, he
So
got a
the
smaller
twins
cake
had to
than the
share a
2-year-olds.
cake.
Oh.
Well, we sang Happy Birthday twice.
Oh. Well, the second time you have to
Once
sing it
for
in
the two
Spanish.
kids, they didn't get their own happy birthday?
No, the two kids have to share a birthday, and then the dad got his own happy birthday and his own little cake.
Can I
So
get
there was
like
plenty
a
of
pie
cake.
or something?
Plus,
so
there was also a bunch of cupcakes. There was plenty of food at this thing.
I would say give me a pie so everybody has one of both.
There were pulled pork sliders.
I
there,
approve.
there was cold
Damn.
cut sandwiches with all the condiments. There was mac and cheese. There was macaroni salad. There was beer. There was
For the
For
1-year-olds?
the kids?
there was more beer.
Wow. Starting them young.
Now Dune writes in what sucks is once you click on one vid, the rest auto follow. Well, no, that's a good channel to auto follow.
You can actually turn that off if you don't want that.
Yeah, you go
Yeah.
in the settings and you can turn off your autofollow.
Now Dune
stuff.
says
Yeah.
what, but I don't know what he's asking what about.
Lots of beer for the kids?
What cake?
No, there's beer for the adults. There's
Oh.
cake for the kids.
Yeah.
Don't they get something to drink?
Oh yeah, they had there was soda, there was water, there was just
Okay.
berries. I never tried that. Yeah, that is a brand of Captain Crunch called Oops All Berries, which
Yeah, that's stupid.
which means that which is how that phrase came to be. Oops all insert fill in
That's
the
a
blank.
phrase?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
phrase.
that's-
Oops all something.
No.
I know I have heard that phrase used for things other than oops all berries, but it's referencing the existence of oops all berries.
I'm sorry, that's stupid. Just regular Captain Crunch. And you just eat it out of the cereal with no milk. Just breakfast right out of the box. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
You don't
I
have a roof
prefer-
of your mouth after that, but
See, I
it's
don't.
delicious.
I was never a fan of the crunch berries, all berries or not all berries, but I like the Captain Crunch's peanut butter crunch. That's the best one.
No, I'll have to respectfully decline on that. Thank you. Yeah, all coffee is the one. That's all coffee.
All
that,
coffee?
Doing is right.
Oops, all coffee. There you go.
Yes. Yes.
So is there a Captain Crunch or somebody else that has a coffee flavor?
No. They should have Captain Crunch
Well,
coffee
actually,
flavor.
Shouldn't there be one?
There
Or
is a-
Cheerios. Cheerios coffee.
Well, there is a Dunkin' Donuts cereal that's coffee flavored, I believe.
Oh god, it's gotta have like fake coffee flavor in it. That'd be weird.
Which brings us to there's a YouTube channel that's all about breakfast cereals, and he did a video about the Dunkin' Donuts
Alright.
cereal.
Alright.
Let me see if I can find that one for you, Mars, and that way you can have something to bookmark for later.
Oops, I did it again, Brittany.
But yeah, there's a channel called Cereal Time TV, and he did a video about the Dunkin' cereal. They had two varieties: one that's caramel macchiato, another
Oh.
one that's mocha latte.
Sounds horrible.
Cereal time, cereal time.
He has a theme song for his channel.
So,
Dunkin' Iced Latte.
Love Dunkin', guys. What's up, Cereal Heads? Today we're going to talk about two brand new cereals from Dunkin' Donuts.
So, anyways, I'll give you the link to that one, and that's another thing to add to your watch list.
Gators, I actually have a question for you that I did not know. Something I did not know, and I
Okay.
found out. I've been
Okay.
watching this retro commercial channel on Twitch. You know,
Okay.
and so they played all these commercials from the 80s, 90s,
Oh,
and
yes,
70s.
I
Yes.
love that channel. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now the thing is, I saw one, and did you know K-Tel made exercise equipment?
Yes.
Why do they make exercise equipment?
They made anything you could sell
They
on
should
TV.
they should just make records.
I agree that their records are their best product and the product that they're most
Exercise
well known for.
equipment? I'm not going to exercise. K-Tel, you broke it there. I'm sorry.
This isn't homework. Now
Yeah.
Sparky wants the commercial channel. That is.
Let me see if I can find that for him.
Basically, that one always shows up under. It's always live, but it's always live with reruns. So, oh my God, is it not showing up right now? I haven't watched it in so long, but
I'll put it
usually-
up there.
They usually. Where did it go? Huh. I haven't watched it in a while, but yeah, I always. Oh, here it is. It is live with 9 views right now. That's why, because it's not on the bottom of my list of. It's called Retro Commercials. So let me go ahead and shout that out. But of course, you already got the link there. Do I have to have something enabled in order for that to work? Whatever. Mars posted the link. It's all good. But yeah, they're running commercials right now.
The mood at Coleman headquarters was a roller coaster, as winning numbers teetered between the two. Negative campaign and all.
What's news? That's
There.
not an ad.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. My cable came out. That's what I was
Ah.
Okay.
But yeah, they basically have captured blocks of commercials. What's cool is that they include the bumpers between the commercial breaks that say what show will return or will be right back. So there have been times where I've seen commercial breaks that come up that are commercial breaks during All My Children, and they had a little All My Children with the portrait of
I'm
Ruth
loving
and Joe.
too.
Yeah. So sometimes it's MTV commercials. Sometimes
I like the British ones. I learned
Yeah,
about
but
new candy. I've learned about Cadbury stuff, and I've learned about what was it, Milky Bars? Milky Bars, that's a good one.
Milky Bars, yeah.
Milky Bars, yeah.
I mean, they're mostly American commercials, but there are some foreign commercials. In fact, one time we were watching a block of I think they were from Japan. Japanese
there's some Japanese commercials. One, Gators, the thing I really hate though is when I'm watching my commercials and the new commercials pop in. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate the commercials taking over my commercials. Damn it! I don't want to hear. I'm sorry.
Totally wrong.
Now, you know what, Mars? I saw you recently tweet about discovering this, and I'm surprised that it took you so long to discover this, because actually, we have Dune to thank, because Dune kind of brought this to our attention in the Twitch finds.
Oh,
but
really?
The original channel was Food Vids, and Food Vids is a channel that just shows old cooking shows back to back on their Twitch channel. But on the weekends, they would switch to showing old advertisements. And Dune found that channel showing advertisement and featured it on Twitch finds. And so then I would watch it on the weekends. I found it was great to put on at night when I needed something to kind of fall asleep.
Do you ever watch the old-timey Computer Network channel?
Which one?
Well, there's one that shows it shows crap from the 70s and 80s and lots of Computer Chronicles and
cool.
Oh my goodness, there's a lot of video game stuff they do.
You're
and
gonna have to link me that one.
Yeah, I have to link
Is
that.
that
one
on YouTube
too.
or what?
What? Yeah.
But eventually, Food Vids split off a separate channel for their advertisements called Retro Commercials, and so at that point they don't show the commercials on the weekends on Food Vids because now they got their own channel for it. So that's where that channel came from, and so I have Dune to thank for.
So would
bringing
they?
that to my-
So would they include some of these real funky local advertisings?
Whatever, just basically it's just a collection of things that they've gotten off of VHS tapes, whatever's on them. So there's some local things that pop in.
Yeah.
There's things from all over the country. There's things that are international.
Fast Eddie,
Yeah.
Cal
Crazy Eddie.
Worthington.
Now, speaking of oddball stuff, do you all like the Riff Tracks events or just Riff Tracks in general?
Yeah, I watch them on Twitch sometimes too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Riff Tracks, when they have an event, they always do a short before the movie that they're going to do. And it's usually one of these old educational type of things. And so,
Yes.
and those are always great fun. And so Chris and I went to the last Riff Tracks event that they just had this past Thursday.
Oh, neat.
Where they did the Return of the Swamp Thing. And they did a short that was about going to the dentist. And it was the short where it starts with like a marionette puppet. And the kid hears his mother making the dentist appointment, so he decides to run off because he's scared of the dentist. And his dog suddenly starts talking and teaching him about the different types of teeth that all the different animals have. Incisors, cuspids, bicuspids, molars, and so then he wakes up. And when he wakes up from this dream, that's when he becomes a real boy. And then he goes to the dentist, and the dentist shows how, see the drill here? It's real gentle. I can write my initials on my thumbnail. Here, let me write them on your thumbnail. Let me stick my fingers in your mouth without putting gloves on.
Wait. Why is he drawing crap on people's fingers and then sticking it in your mouth?
To demonstrate that the drill won't hurt him, I guess. I don't know. I've never had a dentist draw on my fingernail with a drill.
We should ask him next time. Can you draw a heart on my fingernail? Thank you.
I'll have to do that next time.
Yeah.
But that got Kristen and I thinking about the shorts that we watch in school, and I started thinking, it reminded me, gee, I'm surprised this one hasn't turned up, because you think it'd be a great thing for Riff Tracks to make fun of. There was a short that we watched in school about the hazards of poison in the house. And now, Brian, I think you caught my link that I tweeted.
Yeah.
Did you watch that entire thing?
That was several days ago, right?
That was, it was Thursday.
And I don't remember.
I think I need to bring up and show some highlights of this, because this is what I've come to realize is that the 80s was an era.
So right before we find our outfit to raid.
Yes. But the 80s was really an era of 70s reruns. I grew up in the 80s, and they showed us a lot of things that were created in the 70s and the 80s. And then it seems in the 90s they decided, no, this is way too outdated. We got to make new stuff. And that's when they started, and that's kind of the era of like throwing raps into training things. But as an 80s kid, we watch a lot of 70s stuff, or stuff that was made and produced in the 70s. And this is one of them. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring this up in a tab here so I can...
Something that you eat, drink, or get on your skin that makes you sick.
And let me share the screen.
Well, that's a sign for poison.
Oh, these are the real
But what about
thingies.
the bottles, jars, and cans in your
But this has got some really... this is really budget.
Sharing the screen here?
Yeah, there it is.
Remember last week when your oldest son, Ronnie, was working in the garage on his car?
I mean, look at the quality
using
puppet
kerosene
work here.
to clean some of the parts.
It's Mr. Bean.
Scooby-Doo, what a neat car, what a neat car.
What a neat car.
Did you watch that?
When he finished, he had some left over and wanted to save it. Not thinking, he put it in an empty ginger ale bottle.
Kerosene in a ginger ale bottle. What could go
That's
wrong?
right. Now I remember it.
Mr. Spot.
I'd imagine throw it.
And there's Egbert.
I'm thinking a huff.
No.
It was awfully hot that day. Little Egbert came into the garage, and boy was he thirsty. He saw the ginger ale bottle with what looked like ginger ale.
Oh, boy, ginger ale.
Wow. Did you just drink it?
That's what he's going to do now with some quality puppet work.
Oh, yeah. First class.
Oh, Egbert!
The kerosene made him so sick only the doctor at the hospital could help.
Wow. Ooh, it's the old ones.
So what's the 90s version of this video look like? What did they make to replace this?
Poison case, I can tell. Oh, this is too bad, the little feller. Oh, such a shame. Oh, they put the poison machine.
We were all laughing at this in school.
Yeah.
This is hilarious.
Dude, what a dumbass drinking kerosene. Did you smell it?
Well, it's pumping out now.
It was very careless of Ronnie to leave a poison like kerosene in a ginger ale bottle, wasn't it? And it was also very wrong of Egbert to take something without asking.
I see your point.
And what about the time a few months ago when your daughter Susie was helping her mother polish the silver?
And what about the other time?
Well,
Basically, this kid's had his stomach pumped 3 times in the past year.
Wait. Do they polish silver with kerosene?
No. There was silver polish, and she leaves it in the coffee mug, and he thinks it's something to drink, and that's
You
So
always
Egbert
gotta
drinks
stop
that
drinking
too.
stuff.
So Egbert keeps drinking stuff. Is what the problem is here, without asking. Oh, hi, Mike.
Really?
Dude goes, wait, the poison machine? Yes, exactly. The poison machine.
Oh, Mikey. Yeah.
There he is.
There's Egbert.
Oh.
There's the coffee cups.
Coffee. Coffee.
The coffee's too young for Egbert.
Oh, Egbert. Yeah.
Wow, how much money do you think they
Ambulance.
spend in ambulances?
Too much.
Dude, Egbert. Some problems. Wow.
It was kind of careless for Susie to put silver polish in a teacup. And Egbert, he took without...
Now, Sparky wants to know what channel this is, and they post more stuff like this. Let's see. This is Popular Arts, and I didn't check the rest of this channel.
The Rockfish
But it looks like they have a lot of. Let's see. Looks like a lot of different stuff, but not all educational. But actually, let me. There's actually a page that I found that on, because that's the thing, is that I had to go searching to find that, because I only had my vague memories of it. So I had to Google certain terms about, poison, stomach pump, puppets, educational film, and what I found out was that's why I found out that there's a educational film fandom wiki. So educational-film.fandom.com is a good
So
place
group
to go.
of people that have nothing better to do.
Well, there are people yes, Brian, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Now Sparky Toaster writes in, this is quality entertainment. See, Sparky Toaster is not counting the oops all berries or the oops no berries or whatever is in that box of his right now, and Dune is still trying to figure out where to get a poison machine. So on that note, we should look for someone to raid. But we also should open the show.
Oh,
because
open so we can close it.
Once again, you're listening to everyone's favorite internet radio show.
Insert title here.
And we are now closing everyone's favorite internet radio show.
Insert title here.
And we do try to be educational here, and I think we have succeeded greatly in that this week. And so, Brian, what have you learned this week?
I learned that I don't want to go to an interview with Jonathan.
Denied. Instant rejection.
I'll be here for next week's show.
We don't need programmers. We got devs. We got developers. They don't know how to program. But no, I'm kidding. I kid.
Yeah.
Mars, what have you learned this week?
I learned that Gators is going to develop his 1-year-old twins film with beer. Because that makes more sense than anything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with coffee. I got the Folgers.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna drink it. All right, and
Sparky.
And I've learned, I have learned about The View.
Well, The
View.
That's the worst part of oral sex.
I'm sorry, you learned about The View.
That quote that Dune sent us.
You're still on that.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm still on that.
Oh.
That's
I also learned if I do suggest that I am here for the free porn links will show up in the chat room. So Sparky Toaster learned about Egbert. He is a dumbass.
That I agree with. That I agree with.
You're a dumbass. You're grade A, number 1, bona fide, first class. You're a dumbass.
He's a dumbass.
Is there a special voice for Egbert?
And you'll be one, all your dumbass.
We'll have to make one.
Dumbass.
All right, let's see. Who can we raid this week? We could let's see. What is TurboNAD? I don't think, but I don't think they're a. Let's see, 3D printed instruments. Okay, nah, we don't need to raid that. Let's see. Funkin' Waffles Live, VJ Television, Moz, Sessions. We got a few options here, so let me pull up a few channels and see who is.
Baron the Bard.
Yeah, there's that too. That was one that you actually brought up a while ago, I think.
Could have been. Yeah, it's been a while though.
Let's see. Sessions is Cypher in the Basement. So just got back from Palm Beach. Let's see what Sessions is doing right now. It looks like Sessions is. Oh, it's an ad break, and it's not Taco Bell.
Oh.
They have their taco pizza back, don't they?
I don't know. Well, last time I tried to order Taco Bell, they were already they had discontinued it again and said check back later.
What? They just said it was permanent.
Wait a minute. Discontinued what again?
The Mexican pizza.
Oh. So that's a seasonal thinger.
I don't know. I think they brought it back, and then the demand was so high they couldn't keep up, so they didn't. It discontinued, but they're going to bring it back again soon. It was a while ago because I had heard they brought it back, so I went to order it, and they didn't have it, and so now I don't know if they have it again or not. But I was pissed off.
But sometimes you go to Starbucks for one of their seasonal things like the spiced coffee and all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
And you get there a little late and they're gone. Like, what the hell?
Okay.
Why don't you guys order enough for people?
Oh,
I mean, if you order too much, hey, you might even have it around for Christmas.
Now, Dune is suggesting that we raid Pork Roll Bob because he raided Dune on Saturday. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to raid Pork Roll Bob.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to follow Pork Roll Bob.
I also found out Dune's a straight up G on Saturday. That was great.
There
you play a little Dre, a little bit of, LL Cool J.
All right.
Go Dune.
So we're going to go over and we're going to raid Pork Roll Bob. And we'll be back here next week with more cakes and more farts and more 69s. So
sorry.
And a bad view.
And
oh, dear.
Good night.
Good night.
And
Jokes
there
I
we
want.
go.
Like it's fun.
We
man,
rated.
It's just so friggin' fun. And
it's a good show.
Yeah.